Hey everyone, welcome to the Know Like Trust podcast. I am your host, Christine George, and today we have a superstar with us. We have Nicky Lewenson with us, and I'm super excited to have her for so many reasons. One, I've known Nicky for a really long time. She is one of the kindest, most generous people I think I've ever met, and authentic, truly authentic, which is important when we start to talk about what we're going to talk about today. She's an avid runner. She's an adventurer. She's a mom. She's an ever optimist, totally positive attitude all the time. And if you've got a problem, Nicky can solve it. Like, she is an amazing problem solver. So just a little bit about her. Before she was at Wisp.io, which she is now the chief revenue officer there. She was the head of business development with Shant Banosian at Guaranteed Rate. And during her time there, Shant became the number one loan originator in the country. Holy cow. No, seriously, in the country of all loan originators, not just Guaranteed Rate. So I think Nicky had a little bit to do with that, and we're going to talk about that. She's invested her entire career in building business relationships, and today she's going to share her best strategies with us. So super excited to have you. Welcome, Nicky.
Thank you for having me. What a nice, kind intro. That is a lot to live up to. I love it. Thank you very much.
I'm a truth teller. I am a truth teller. So, Nicky, Jesse, who is our editor, who's in the background, had to actually cut Nicky and I off in the green room because we were talking nonstop about our Labradoodles, and so we could talk for hours. So I'm just going to dig into the reason we're here. We really want to talk about relationships today, how important they are to building business, and how building authentic relationships is really, you can have immense results by doing that. So let's just dig in. You were an integral part of Shant's team. We're going to talk pre-Wisp.io. He didn't become number one without you. How did you help him generate so much business?
So when I met Shant, he was already at $274 million in funding. So he was like off and running and doing an amazing job and growing business. When he brought me in, I had known him for 8 years. I had been sending him business pretty much prior to me joining the team from the real estate law side of things. And one thing that I loved about Shant from the start, like when he was like a $30 million a year producer and had just started out, was he truly cares about everyone he talks to. He remembers everything. Yes. He's like one of those people, like if I say, I told you that, and he says, no, you didn't mention that. Like, he's right. Like, because he would remember, which is a brilliant, feature in somebody to have, and an attribute, because it's like if somebody remembers everything like that, they really care, right? And so when I joined the team, I had always felt like I must be his best referral source. So I said, you don't need to bring me onto your team. I already send you everyone I know. And he's like, no. He's like, I want to make sure that all of our customers and partners, as I grow and as you help grow it, get that same level of care. And we were just really aligned with how we feel about people and partners, and like how much effort they're putting in to what they're growing. And that when somebody passes to us, it's like we want to give that new client or lead or whatever you want to call it, this amazing amount of attention, because we know how hard it was for it to get passed in. And to me, that was like a core piece that not everyone in the industry of like realtor, lender, insurance agent necessarily get, right? Like every opportunity is hard won for somebody. So we want to care for them the same way. So we had like the basic core value of how we thought of our clients, our partners, and how we treat people. And so it became really easy for me to come into the team, and he gave me a lot of freedom and leeway to grow it and build business how I thought would be really effective, which, he is the number one lender in the country out of 500,000 now. Right. And even now, I'm not on the team anymore, but the whole process in between, we built through a lot of low cost, no cost events that we really cared about and included our world into it. We grew through adding as much value as possible without worrying so much about what we got in return. and also just giving people a great experience. So growing real relationships that I care about and including them in things that I care about and learning about what other people care about and getting involved in that, I think was really the key to growing business, for that. And it sounds so simple and basic, but creating events and opportunities to be with our sphere was meaningful to them and meaningful to me as well.
That there's so much to unpack in that. So there are three things that I just wrote down that I heard, three specific strategies to building those relationships. One was low cost, no cost events. The second was providing value without worrying about the return, which is really key. Without worrying about the return. So many people are afraid to provide value because they're going to give away their secrets, or they're going to be, people are going to take from them and then they're not going to get anything in return. So that's a really key thing. And then providing an experience. I think those are so important. I have so many questions about that, but the first question is, how do you know, like what they want for value? Like, how do you know what to give them? How do you know what they want for an experience? I mean, how do you know what people need, what they care about?
So, I mean, relationship building, in my opinion, and what makes it like fun is like, I genuinely like people. Like, I like to be around people. I'm curious about people. Like, I have this, I used to do this thing and I still sometimes do it. Like if I'm nervous in a situation, right, and I'm with somebody new, I just want to find like one or two unique things about them that I can like that maybe no one else knows, or not like a secret, but like a hobby or something they care about, and really just ask a lot of questions. So like, it's pretty simple. I feel if I just ask people questions to uncover what they do care about. And if it's, just because they care about something doesn't mean it's like an event I'm going to do or a road I'm going to go down, but it gives me a good idea of like what I can include them in the future that will be like fun, important, and exciting to them. And so to know what value they're looking for, to me, is truly about just asking questions and listening and being curious about people. Because everyone has something super interesting.
Everybody does. I totally agree with you. Everybody has a story. And quite honestly, people want to be acknowledged. They want to be heard. They want to be recognized. And when somebody like you asks them questions about what they love or what's important to them, it makes them feel heard. Right. And so that's where the relationship building really begins. And I think what's the quote? People don't know how much what is it about? Oh my God, it's going to drive me crazy now. People don't know you care until they know how much you care. I forget the quote. You know what I'm talking about.
It also
right?
makes it so, yes, I do, but I can't think of what the quote is. And I'll like think of it in the shower, I'm sure, like tomorrow morning.
I know.
That's it. But I think that also like, it makes it really fun to grow relationships and do business with people that you know. And so getting to know people is like, in my opinion, like what makes this job and this translates from Shant to Wisp to any, business the relationship that someone's growing is like, if you get to know somebody and really like learn about that quirky hobby they have or something, you learn about something new, which is always interesting, right? I hope I don't always catch all of their hobbies because like I already have too many hobbies. Probably I need to do some like hobby layoffs, but it also it gives a common ground to like talk about in the future, ask about, and also makes the person super memorable to me.
Yes.
Yes. I'll think I can usually like remember what people order for lunch and stuff, like weird things like that. But like, if I know they have this like other passion or something they did when they were younger, something that was it's important to them now, it just makes them, a really complete person beyond just the business relationship, which is really important to me.
Yep. Absolutely. So the quote is, I thought of it. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Oh, yes. I like that.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yes. Quick thinking. Well, not quick enough, but okay. So, all right. Tell me, let's face it, you can't please all the people all the time, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes even no matter how much we care, we can mess up, right?
Mhm.
So Shant is growing huge, and I'm sure mistakes were made sometimes. And
Always. We make
how do you, right? So how do you fix them in a way that you're being true to your core values, which is that you really care?
Mm-hmm. So I think that's like two parts, right? Like, so fixing mistakes, and I've made a million mistakes in my career. Like, I'll make a million more. I'll like disappoint people, upset people. All those things will happen just because, as much as you try and do a great job, sometimes people's expectations, you're not like they're not aligned, or things just, take a turn, or you're not able to give them what they're asking for, right? So in those situations, usually my whole thing is like, I'd rather have a direct conversation with somebody, ask them what they're not happy with, listen to what they're not happy with, like truly give them the space just to talk, and then come back to them either in that moment, or if I need to think about it, and make amends wherever's needed. Like, this is what I want to change going forward, and address it head on, take responsibility. And if they're looking for something I can't provide, sometimes people would call for like sponsorship money or like all sorts of things. People ask for everything under the sun, right? Which is like, okay, I'm an asker. Like, I'm a true believer of like, you don't know unless you ask. So like, the worst that happens, someone can say no. So I'm also comfortable asking, and I've been on both sides of that equation, but I'm also comfortable saying no. I think part of providing value is, and doing it in a way where you're not expecting a return or not worried about the return, is providing value that you're comfortable providing. If it's something that like I will feel resentful about, or like we can't afford or doesn't make sense, I'll just tell people like, I can't do that, but I can do this. And so to me, in a relationship, especially with like a referral partner or and a customer, right, is just to be really clear about like, hey, I want to hear what you need or what you think you need from me. And then I'm going to tell you what I can do. And if I can't do that, I'm going to tell you another option that would be a yes. So it's never like, no, I can't believe you're asking me. I'm glad people come to me and ask me for things. Like, that's a sign of a healthy relationship, right? But I also think healthy is being able to say, that's not like how I can help or how we can help. And I've had a lot of these millions of these conversations in my career, but like, this is what I can do that might scratch that itch or fill that purpose for you. So I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just about asking. It goes back to how you start to build a relationship. It's asking questions and listening. Right. Yeah. So cool. All right. So tell me, what's the most creative strategy you've ever implemented?
So I'll tell you my favorite strategy, and it's like super self-serving. So I will put that out there. And I think that like really good strategies often is for building relationships, I would say. Strategy is choosing things to offer that I want to do as well. Right. So like things that I'm comfortable providing. So for my favorite way of growth and client engagement with Shant, and it will probably be forever in any business I'm in, is to, I love to do, like if I didn't have to work, right? If I didn't need to bring in dollars or whatever, I'd probably use all my sales skills and energy and relationship building for charitable giving, right? Like I like the idea of, if you're a salesperson, you get to use your powers for good, ask for money for something that really needs it, and all these different things, right? So one of my favorite strategies with Shant that we had developed, like upon me joining, like before I joined, it was built into my contract essentially, was that I could grow as much as we wanted to through community giving. So for me, that meant like I wanted to be able to spend X amount of time working with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. That was like the charity I brought with me to that job, right? And we grew other relationships with other charities throughout, which have been amazing and really exciting and impactful for me personally, but also for our clients. So the strategy there is like, you don't have to throw this huge fancy party. You don't have to spend a ton of money on all these other things. What's really important to me is like having time to connect. And there's plenty of nonprofits, community activities, charities out there that really, really need a hand, need bodies, need time, need energy brain power, strategy, all of that are like dying for help from everyone, right? So one of my favorite strategies is to choose, like, for me, it's St. Jude, but it could be, the Greater Boston Food Bank or anything. Choose something that needs the help, has stuff already set up. Like, they already have events all year long that they're promoting, right? And they just need people to come and get engaged and be excited about it and then spread their word and raise money. So choosing something that's already in place, like you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you don't have to create the event, in finding a way to invite all of your world into it. I'm a more the merrier type of person. So I like events where like everyone's invited. Like it could be that person, it could be that person and all their clients, it could be that person, all their clients, their neighbors, their kids' soccer team, like whoever, right? The more the merrier. Can invite them in. That doesn't cost anyone a lot of money, but can help make a big impact for a community that needs it. And that strategy, I think, has been a super self-serving, because I've gotten to spend a ton of time doing something like I really want to do, right? Yeah. And B, it's helped for St. Jude, for example, like with the walk, and I've chaired the walk for a number of years, it's helped them get this massive amount of amazing people engaged. And now a lot of our clients and partners, it's their own thing. Like they've built their own St. Jude teams. They've built their own St. Jude events. Like they're fundraising for it, even when I'm not involved. When they see the St. Jude logo in windows of stores, they're taking pictures and they feel pride and they're connected to this way bigger, impactful cause. And then, getting a mortgage or referring to a lender, and they feel good, and they've created memories. So to me, that type of connection, when it's not about like work stuff, has been really helpful and fulfilling.
Yeah. And it's important to note that you grew that as well in parallel to helping Shant. And I think you're the number one fundraiser for the St. Jude Walk, aren't you?
Yeah. So for St. Jude Walk Run, Boston, I think, I don't know what number, it was like 1 or 2 this year in the country out of all the walks, but we've grown it from, and I've personally been a part of it for years, but we've grown it from the walk when I first went was like 500 people. Now it's like 3,500 people, raises over $500,000 a year in New England. So I'm super proud of that. And I'm proud of like, not like just my engagement in it, but I'm proud of like the community's engagement in it. It's like a collective win for so many people we work with and know and partner with. So it's just, that has been such a exciting time of my life.
And that's so awesome. And at the end of the day, after all of the feel good stuff and the great money that you raised for St. Jude, people are feeling good about the Shant Banosian team, right?
Yeah. They're feeling good about us. They're feeling good about them. They, people make it their own. And it's like, to me, that's the goal. It's like that it adds a value, where somebody can bring their sphere in, they can see how it works, right? Like, I think anything that I teach, I always make sure it's something where I'm doing, whether, whatever capacity I'm in. So it's like, I believe in no cost, low cost events and turning all sorts of charitable giving into client engagement, right? I think it's a great way to go. It kills like 10 birds with one stone. And even if you get no business from it, you've already won because you've like helped this charity you care about, right? But aside from that, I think that, there's so many low cost, no cost things that can be done for client engagement to add value. And a lot of times I see people get in the way of thinking something needs to be this big, fancy, expensive undertaking, and it can be really something super simple. It's just people want to actually connect, and I want to give them a way to like plug in and do that. So this was totally not on my radar to ask you, but you kind of just created the segue. You talked about people really just want to connect, and the last couple of years has been really challenging in terms of connecting. I'm curious, how were you able to continue to get people to be engaged and connect with people during the pandemic? So during the pandemic, like we switched on a dime to like basically running like a TV station on Facebook. So, I mean, we instantly started a Facebook group for like all of our partners to join. And we had, I think, like 900 people joined in like that first week or something. It was like a large number of people. And then what I did was I instantly turned all of my workshops that I was doing in person into webinars. So for the past, 2020 till now, or before that, because I did them in person, I've offered, 5 to 10 different business development webinars to our, at that point, referral partners. Now, it's just what I do in my life. I use the information. But what we did was we turned them into, online webinars so people could join in. And it's like stuff that is just about business building. So habits and accountability, I've had probably like 2,000 people through it over the years, that class. Client engagement through community giving is one of them. Low cost, no cost events. Now I'm like prospecting, treasure hunting, like growing your business. Like that would be one of the classes. Any tech tools I was using that would help me grow business, I would do a class around it to help our agents grow business. Like anything I'm doing that's working, I'm going to turn it into a webinar and offer it up. So during the pandemic, I did a ton of that. And I also did one of my favorite things in the pandemic that came from it was I started doing like a mile a day challenge, another free event, right? Like it cost me $0.00, just made a Strava group and did a mile a day challenge, released it to all of our partners. They could do it with their friends. And basically, instead of meeting up for lunches and coffees and all that, I would just meet up with people for a walk. And I got like a ton of steps in. And I also got time to really connect with people in a safe environment outdoors, right? And see everyone still, because like it was important for me to see people, like actually see them, even when we really couldn't like see them in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
And I did a guitar hour for our clients' kids.
Can we talk about the guitar for a second? Like, I remember the first time I saw you playing the guitar on Facebook, I was like, and I think I'd known you for a couple of years at that point. I'm like, how did I not know that she played the guitar? Like, you're amazing.
I just started playing a few years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago.
I know, you told me like you're self-taught. That's crazy.
I'm self-taught. I'm self-taught, and I did it on my habit tracker from that habits and accountability class. I did 20 minutes a day. So it was a terrible guitar hour, like nothing that had a B in it, but it was a great way to just get our partners engaged and have their kids on. And like, it was so dumb. Like I look back at it and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But it's like, it was just nice. It was nice to just be silly and like.
Yes. We don't ever get to be silly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. What do you think in your experience are the most important skills or the most important skills to build client relationships? Like we've talked about strategies, but what are the skills that somebody needs?
I think the skills are to be really organized, to be able to follow up and keep in touch with people, to be able to like, it's really easy to meet a lot, or maybe it's not really easy, but you can put yourself in a lot of situations where you're going to meet a lot of people, right? Just like be in rooms with a lot of people, networking, be in life where there's other people around. But the ability to like turn that meeting someone and liking the conversation into a relationship is, I think, a really important skill to be able to harness. And so being able to get their contact information easily and then follow up, to stay organized with keeping people in the loop on what you're doing and inviting them in. And then also find time to really connect with people, even if it's a quick phone call or like you and I met up recently for a walk, like just to find time, even if it's not all the time, even if it's like twice a year, you get to connect with this person in person. But really have time just to like talk to them about what's going on, learn like what's, happening in their world, business wise, personally, whatever your relationship is like, and then figure out ways where you can it's like really, really sales 101, but like find pain points that you can help with and in a genuine way, right? Like I said before, like I don't offer things I'm not like that I'll feel resentful about. I offer things that like I'm happy to help with and that I know whether business comes from it or not, it will be okay.
So I heard you say organization, follow up, and good listening skills. Because if you have good listening skills, then you can understand how to solve their problems.
Yeah. And I think skill wise too, just being really habitual in how I structure my day.
Habitual. Yes. Time blocking is key. Time blocking is so important in order to achieve your goals and be efficient, right? Okay, so let's shift the conversation. I want to talk about wisp.io because you just started there. You're the chief revenue officer. Tell us about the company. What are they trying to achieve? What's your role? What are you excited about? How can people get engaged?
Yeah, so thanks. I'm super excited about all of it at this point. I've been there since January, but I was helping them like behind the scenes and in conversations with them since May last year. So like they came to me and demoed their product. And what it is they have 40 patents around QR codes and web links, where when somebody scans a QR code or clicks a web link, it auto populates into the SMS, so the text message of the person who scanned. I'm going to just say scan for now, but they're interchangeable. Mm-hmm. It will say maybe like press send to connect with Nikki, or press send to learn more about 123 Main Street, wherever you have a QR code. Once they press send, two things happen. The consumer gets the information they're looking for, and the business gets the cell phone number, name, and email of the person who scanned. So what we've eliminated is the form fill and any friction for the consumer. So it's
wow.
Yeah. And it's a TCPA compliant, user initiated opt-in. So you can text and call that person and really build a relationship. So I was excited about it instantly for exactly what we just mentioned a minute ago, where you can be in a room with a lot of people, but if you can't capture their information, it's really hard to build a relationship. And sometimes that information moment, or like form fill, if you have an ad or a marketing piece, and you might be able to see how many people clicked it or scanned it, but you don't know who they are. And what I loved about Wisp was it gives me a chance to give someone great service from the start and be the person who reaches out my hand and says like, hey, I'd love to chat. Because although I'm a salesperson, not everybody is so comfortable calling or texting or emailing. Or for me, I'll click on a link and there'll be a form fill, and it might be my like full intention to go ahead and fill it out. But like the dog starts barking, I get a notification on my phone, a text message comes in, someone's FaceTiming, like, oh, there's a lot happening on my phone at all times, right? So it's very distracting. It's very distracting. So what I love about it is it makes it so simple. All I have to do is press send, and I'll get like, that's my opt-in. I get the information I need back. And also it gives that company the opportunity to follow up with me via text or phone call, which is really nice.
That is phenomenal. So is that executable also like online too?
Yeah. So it works with
any on a website?
Yep. So what we're seeing is our clients are using it for any call to action. So if there's a call to action on your website, like apply now, learn more, schedule a consultation, get a home valuation. And we have clients in all different sectors. So like it works really well in any space where somebody would typically end up on a form fill. I mean, what's amazing about QR codes and COVID is like QR codes are super comfortable for people to scan. They've been scanning at restaurants, on the side of a truck, on billboards, on commercials, anywhere, right? But a QR code only leads to a form fill or a website. Yeah. So it doesn't really help the business capture the information and begin a conversation. Because I believe in tech enabling relationships to be built, not like in place of being relationships, true relationships being built. So for me, I love the idea that I can have a QR code on a sign or a web link that says apply now or get started or learn more. And as soon as that happens, as soon as they click or scan, I can begin a conversation via text. And we have a lot of tools to be able to make great text journeys. A lot of our clients have it go into a call center, or they are the call center, right?
Yeah.
Delete is important here in this world.
Yes.
So either way, whether you're a one-person solopreneur business, a realtor or a lender, or if you're like, a lot of our clients at this point are massive enterprise clients, it's just very effective for filling the top of the funnel with quality leads, for lack of a better word, quality prospects and new relationships, and to really begin a true conversation and start start converting those people into customers, friends, whatever, any relationship you want.
I love that. I can't wait to get on Wisp.io. I cannot wait. So, I'm already like, my head is buzzing like, okay, we have so many calls to action on our site. I want them to all be connected through Wisp.io.
Yeah. Sure. So it's great. To answer the rest of your question, so we're in all different spaces right now, which has been really exciting for me. I mean, we're in furniture stores, like big sporting events, home services, like mattress companies. I mean, like home alarms. Like there's an endless amount of different like umbrellas that we're working in right now. I just named a few, but what's exciting to me is that the cost is really like April 1st. So in 2 weeks, and I have a beta test form if anybody wants it, but April 1st, we're releasing our full solar user experience. So like if you're one person, you'll be able to go online, click sign up. You also get a digital business card with it. So if you like are out there and you don't want to, you're not creating a million different calls to action, but you want to create one, you can have that really easily. And it looks great and it's easy to use. But that to me is exciting that it can be for anybody and you're not shut out as a small business or a solopreneur because like you don't have like big marketing money to spend. Like this isn't a big ticket item. If you are able to use it, as one person or a huge company, I think is really important to us as Wisp.
What a natural evolution for you as a relationship builder to come into a space that their primary mission is to enable building of relationships. Like that's just such a perfect fit. So what are like the first 3 things you're going to do as the chief revenue officer?
Yeah. So the good news is that I can tell you because I've now been there, right? And so I've gotten a chance to do a bunch of firsts. The first thing I did was and this I think was really important. I spent a lot of time thinking about if this was the right fit for me and talking to the founder and the rest of the company. There's about 25 people who work there now, about the philosophy of like the company, the integrity, how we want to grow, what's important to us, and just really learning about them to make sure that it was like a place that felt super comfortable for me and that I could truly be myself. Like I can't hide that, right? Like I wanted them to know what they were getting from me and I wanted to know what I was getting from them as people and as a business, right? Moving forward. So really, the first thing before I joined was that once I joined, the first day that I started, like officially on the clock, I had a whole day with the founder and the vice president, and I had them go through all of their most important relationships with me and give me background. So like anyone that would be passed to me or anyone that's been like a big important person to Wisp so far, or like strategic partner of ours or really important or customer of ours or accounts, I wanted to understand who those people were just like from words, not like in a spreadsheet or an email, and be able to like digest that information and start to get to know who the players were and like why they are important and how I can help them, right? That was the first thing. And that takes a lot of time. Like, you're not going to know someone from a download, but like I could hear the expression in people's voices as they described it to me and described the people to me. And that made a big impact on like where I was going to start. The second thing I did was I created an intro email. And I just said, okay, anyone that you think I should be in touch with right now, just send me an introduction, please. So I can then reach out and begin my relationship with them myself. Right. So I wanted that warm pass. And so that was the second thing. And that's, ongoing. But what it did was it gave me a really good idea of who everyone was and like how they fit into the puzzle. And then also it gave me an introduction to them so I could begin to like get to know them in my own right, learn about them, learn about their business, and see how I can be helpful. And then the third thing, which is equally as important, is really understanding what everyone's role is at Wisp currently. And so I could begin to really understand how I could work with all the departments to really grow revenue and like who I needed to go to, how, like who they were too, like as people that were now on the team that I'm joining. because you know, I have a lot of my own ideas, but until I understand how everything is working now and like has been working, I didn't want to just like come in and be like, okay, this is my idea. Like I wanted to like hear where everyone was and get to know everyone. So those three things have been invaluable for me and have helped me really hit the ground running in my job.
So smart. So smart. Okay, Nikki, as we start to wrap up, what are the three most important things you'd like our community to remember today? Today.
That is really
a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I think the most important thing for me to remind myself of, right, is that, you know, it's a good question. I think the best way to build any relationship is to genuinely get excited about learning about someone and be curious. When I'm able to go from like worrying about what I don't have or what I want to get to just being curious about who I'm sitting across from, everything is easier. The second thing is creating events that I truly want to be at. We work so hard and so much in this lifetime. I really believe in work-life integration because like I'm definitely not going to have any balance anytime soon. Like that is just not how my body is built and like how my brain is built. So knowing I'm going to be working a lot and I really enjoy working a lot and I'm going to be spending a lot of time with these opportunities, relationships, people, meeting new people. I want to be doing stuff that I actually want to be doing. And so finding that common ground where I can do something I care about, but I can also invite everyone into is really important thing to remember. It's like, if there's an event that I'm planning that I'm like, I don't even want to go, most likely no one else wants to go either. Right?
Yeah. So true.
And like the consolation prize is if the event is a flop, which we've all had events that like don't quite go as planned, at least I want to be there and I'm like happy to be there.
Yeah.
Right. So like that to me is the second thing. And the third thing that remembering that I always remind myself is like, if I can stay organized and like, this is where WISP really helps. It's like, I want to actually maximize my impact of being places. Like, I don't want to just be somewhere and then never follow up because nothing will come from that for me to add or for me to, you know, earn. So being organized with my tech, like using WISP, having good habits for daily, like follow up and having good processes in place, I could do everything else right. But if I'm under the misconception that people are just going to remember and think of me, I'm crazy. So staying top of mind, following up, building that funnel is of the utmost important to make the first two things really impactful and successful too.
Awesome. All right, Nikki, finish this sentence.
Okay.
Know, like, trust is.
Know, like, trust is, aside from being an amazing podcast. Like trust is just being authentic and really being okay, being comfortable with yourself so that you can get to know other people, being true to your word. And I think know, like, trust is also giving people the benefit of the doubt and kind of like checking your ego and fear and worries at the door and just going into a situation to like find out more and be curious.
Love it. Love it. Oh my God.
That's good questions.
You like that? That's our finisher. Where can people find you?
Yeah. So my, I will put my WISP on it. So you guys can easily just connect to me. It's attached to my digital business card. So you can literally have all my information in a moment after you click on it. And you can also see how the tech works. You can also find us at wisp.io and my WISP is really the best way to find me. LinkedIn as well. My WISP is on everything. So
we'll have it in the show notes for the podcast. We'll put it in the comments in the live cast. And I'm super excited to actually, I think I have it from when we went on our walk. Like, yeah,
I'll send you a link though, so that you have, yeah, so you're not just sharing my digital business card, but they can have the experience of scanning or clicking and texting right in.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. This has been so awesome. And for everyone who's watching live, watching the replay, or listening on the podcast, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed our podcast, we would so love it if you would share it with your friends. Give us a 5-star review, leave us a review, subscribe, and we'll see you here next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for having me. So fun.